Welcome back to the Payment Shed podcast. Today we have Savannah Keys, the Director of Strategic Partnerships at Aperia Compliance. Savannah, thank you so much for coming on the show. Tell us a bit more about yourself and about Aperia Compliance.
Yeah, so like you said, Savannah Keys with Aperia Compliance. I've been in the payment space for about the last 6 years. I came from more middleware payments technology, but this past year I just entered more of the payments compliance space. Aperia Compliance is a PCI compliance platform for merchant aggregators. So we work with acquirers, ISOs, banks, really anybody that has merchants under them, and we give them a white labeled platform that their merchants can go in and fill out their PCI SAQs, so level 3 and level 4 merchants.
Amazing. So compliance is scary, compliance is tough.
Yeah.
How should merchants really be looking at it?
You know, it's interesting. Compliance, to a lot of merchants, they have no idea what it means. When we think about small, medium merchants, really those level 3s and level 4s doing their PCI on their own, we're talking about small mom and pop shops. We're talking about small organizations that don't have the time, don't have the resources, and they just don't know. So if you're told, hey, sit down, you have to fill out this PCI audit, or you're gonna have this big, scary non-compliance fee, a lot of people don't know where to start. And then you add and compound the fact that every year it's another regulation, another thing on their list. So, I mean, it's really tricky, but that's really kind of where the creation of our platform started.
I think a big piece of that, education is key, right?
Yes.
You mentioned there, a lot of merchants, they don't understand PCI, so trying to educate them something they've never really heard of. Otherwise they get fined is quite scary, right? So not really sure how to react to it.
Yeah.
Do we think that acquirers and ISOs are doing enough to educate their merchants?
That's a great question. So some are, some aren't. Let's be really honest. Some just take the route of, hey, I gave them a tool, they didn't use it, I'm going to charge them a non-compliance fee, and that's where a lot of their revenue comes from. And not saying that's good or bad, that's just their viewpoint on it. However, we do work with some merchants that really do try and ensure that all of their merchants are PCI compliant, and then they're also rolling out additional tools that are compliance adjacent. So, ADA web compliance and privacy is a big deal that is federally recognized now. The payment page script monitoring. So there are a lot of things that are compliance or federally regulated that have come out in the last couple of years that we're seeing our partners want to give that to their merchants. They want to help them not only become compliant to avoid that fee, but also give them tools to help their business.
You made a good point there. It's a revenue stream for most acquirers, right? And whether we like it or not, they're making, in some cases, millions of PCI non-compliance fees. So it's kind of careful what you wish for. We want to sell our customers to help our customers, but we also have revenue that needs to be brought into the business, right?
Absolutely.
It's a difficult balance.
Yep.
When we talk about regulation, technology, fraud, it's improving every single day.
It is.
What's Aperia Compliance doing to try and keep up with how fast the industry is moving?
Yeah, so one of our most recent projects is we will always be a compliance platform. However, we are trying to shift how we look at it because that's where the industry is going. So PCI compliance, I'm sure you and your listeners have heard, but there may not be credit card numbers in the future. That doesn't mean compliance will go away. I think there will always be compliance around the payments piece, but we're really looking at how do we marry risk with compliance. So we're creating a future tool, but think of it as kind of like your credit monitoring. So when a merchant logs in, they can see how am I stacking up? Am I really risky because of what my business does and how I process my payments? And then their acquirer or processor can say, hey, based on your risk, we suggest, one, that you become PCI compliant, but two, here's data breach insurance for you, and here's payment page script monitoring or website compliance. There's all of these tools that we can help provide them based on them specifically.
So it's different, more specific, merchant by merchant, right? Because everyone's needs are different.
Yes.
Incredible. What does the next 12 months look like, do you think, in the world of compliance?
So I think that risk piece is really big. So there's a lot happening in the industry where people are starting to talk about if a merchant becomes PCI compliant, it doesn't protect them from a breach. Compliance doesn't equal, safe. And so I think you'll see a lot of people going more towards, yes, be PCI compliant, but download this endpoint protection. Yes, be PCI compliant, but also take these other steps to protect your business, especially for these small merchants.
It sounds like you may think you're PCI compliant, but it doesn't mean you're not open to that breach,
yeah,
right?
Compliance doesn't equal security.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic, so much. Money 2020 so far for you, how's it been today?
It's been great. You know, I love Money 2020. I think this is my favorite show of the year. The energy, the people.
Yeah.
I think this is my 5th year coming, so I'm starting to see people in the hallway that I'm like, I know you out of this many people. That's really cool. But there's a lot of great vendors here, and I'm learning a lot from everybody.
Amazing. And last thing,
Yes.
Savannah, shelf of shame, what grinds your gears in payments so we can tell our listeners?
You know, this one's really interesting because I used to say this when I entered the payment space, and it really matched what I was doing at the time. But I hate when vendors say, set it and forget it, especially in the payment space, because as you just said, it is changing daily. So I think anything payments or really even technology related, you can't just set it and forget it. You constantly have to be on top of it.
I think it's a good point now. I think we can sometimes blame salespeople for that, right? We just move on to the next one. Really good point. Savannah, thank you so much for your time.
Yes.
And have a great event.
Yes, likewise. Thanks.